But the first thing I want to start off with today is Asmongold is finally getting noticed in the mainstream. Yay! Yay! People are starting to notice Asmongold.
Let's talk about this.
People are starting to notice Asmongold. Kyle Kulinski has put out a video, Asmongold ecstatic at Trump's psychotic warmongering. I, for one, think Asmongold should be drafted. I would love to see Asmongold in the military. That's how I feel. I think it would be good for him, honestly. Like, they'd force him to shower. They'd strip him, they'd force him into the showers. They'd put the showers in alternating full cold and full scorching, blistering hot, and just make him belly crawl through the water as they threw fucking lye on his fucking skin. And delousing agents. That's exactly what the military would do to somebody like Asmongold who doesn't wash. They'd scrub him with fucking like scrubs, like, you know, scrubby things on a stick. That would be an interesting. I mean, if he's going to talk about warmongering.
מקבל פניות מקצינים בצה"ל שנשלחים לפנות עשרות אלפי עזתים. בסוף זה 500,000 עזתים שפנו בצפון הרצועה. נכנס במקומם כוח טרקטורים שהוא לא בפיקודם. הורס את בית לאיה, הורס את בית חנון. באים המפקדים האלה ואומרים, בחוץ אומרים סמוטריץ' בן גביר, יחד עם גולדקנופ וגם דניאלה וייס, שהיא לא פוליטיקאית, אבל עם תנועת נחלה, רצועת עזה תהיה נקייה מערבים. אחד קורא לזה לנקות את הרצועה, שני קורא לזה לדלל את האוכלוסייה. זה פשע מלחמה. והחיילים למה פנו אני לא שולח חיילי צה"ל להרוג את כולם. אני מצפה מדינת ישראל שלא תשלח חיילים להרוג תינוקות או נשים וילדים. וסמוטריץ' ובן גביר מדברים על לפנות, לדלל אוכלוסייה, ואז תהיה נקייה מערבים. וניישב במקום היהודים, זה לא מטרת מלחמה של מדינה שאני רוצה לחיות בה.
Damn. Sorry, I should have turned that down over the Hebrew that you can't understand. My bad. But anyway, people are starting to notice Asmongold, which is awesome. We enjoy that, chat. Let's get right into the stream. Thank you for all the support. There's a coup going on in Turkey. Erdogan has canceled his major opponent. I'd be more than glad to see you talk about it in the global media. Thank you in advance. Oh, the United States and NATO loves dictatorship. So, yeah, the video was super loud. My bad. Basically, it was an Israeli defense minister. Ham and Fist, thanks for the 20 spot. Thank you. Basically, it was an Israeli defense minister saying that they're trying to ethically cleanse the Gaza Strip, and he doesn't want to be in a country like that. Why does every liberal argue that it's okay to bomb hospitals because there have been Hamas members in there? I just get dumbfounded and don't know how to respond. The answer is, if you want to understand what a liberal is a person who is socially oriented. And they maintain their beliefs based on what is socially acceptable. How do they know what is socially acceptable? They reference mainstream media. All right. Most liberals are not, you know, people who understand international humanitarian law or what, you know, the Geneva Conventions, right? They just pay attention to what media is saying. The media tells them this is the acceptable opinion. This is the talking point of the elite of the government. If you say this talking point, you will not get in trouble. And then they repeat it. That's about it. Okay? And this is one of the most black-pilling things that you can realize is, especially in foreign policy, the average person is just repeating what they heard on the TV. They're not exercising any kind of separate judgment. They're not researching. They don't know what geography looks like. They don't know anything about the cultures or the peoples that are involved. They are just repeating what they heard on the TV or on social media. And so saying, yeah, you could bomb a hospital if a Hamas member is there. Now, clearly that's against international law. That's not true. If every single patient in a hospital was Hamas, that doesn't mean you get to bomb the hospital. I'll say that again. If every single patient in a hospital was Hamas or Al-Qaeda or ISIS, it doesn't mean you get to bomb the hospital. That's against international law. Period. Done. It's a war crime. Had a liberal tell me that if he lived under a dictatorship, he would challenge it as long as his family could eat. Yeah, well, of course. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what Germans did in World War II. And I think a lot of people, you know, I don't know if it's because of delusion or you don't know what revolution or rebellion means, but a lot of people have lived with the comfortable lie that they would have done something in Germany, and you know, in Nazi Germany. And my absolute certitude is that 99% of liberals would not have done a goddamn thing because they didn't do a goddamn thing. And there's no difference between a German liberal and American liberal. They are the fucking same. Even though it doesn't matter, Israel has never, not once, provided evidence for these claims about human shields and Hamas using hospitals. Well, they're self-evident, right? Civilians died, right? Therefore, they must be using human shields. You can't possibly believe that an American ally would intentionally or wantonly or recklessly target individuals and kill civilians. You must be anti-Semitic. And that's that. Was it you that said the other day that 80% of SS operations were carried out because of citizens ratting and not their own intel? Well, I mean, that's not me. That's just what the scholarship shows. Right? That's not my scholarship, but that's what the scholarship shows. That I learned by reading. I'm too old for arm resistance. No, you're not. Bro, the German left is deranged when it comes to Israel. Yes, because it's part about, you have to understand that a lot of people are on the left because they want to feel good about themselves. And supporting Israel is how Germans distance themselves from the genocide they committed. They go, see, we don't hate the Jews anymore. We're giving lots of money and support to Israel. Therefore, we're not Nazis anymore. And targeting the Jews isn't what made Nazis Nazis, right? You could substitute any other minority group in there for Nazism and it would work just the same. It isn't because the Nazis targeted Jews that made them evil. It's that they targeted human beings like that made them evil. The Ents from the LOTR are the definition of centrist libs? Absolutely not. The Ents actually fought and won. The Ents are not. The Ents actually fought and won. That's not centrist. The JFK documents confirmed the Hungarian counter-revolution in 1956 was caused Khrushchev descent in the tanks was a CIA-sponsored color revolution. Of course it was. They're saying that Germans aren't anti-Semitic, but all the anti-Semitism in German society comes from immigrants from the Middle East. Well, first of all, oh my lord. That's basically just Nazism, except instead of saying Jews, you're saying Muslims.
That I'm witnessing in a lot of places.
You are hoping the Ed tree folk are fucking liberal as shit? You mean they go in and destroy Isengard in battle? How are they liberal? What the fuck are you talking about? The Ents did nothing until it affected them directly. Well, they actually see. Here's the difference between a liberal and that. Liberals have shit affecting them directly all the time, and they still don't do shit. That's the point. The fact that they did something, it's normal to not want to go into war. But the Ents eventually did something that makes them not liberal. Liberals do nothing.
Twitch's #1 streamer is a guy by the name of Asmongold. And this guy is wildly popular. And it turns out that as time has gone by, he shifted further and further to the right and became a bigger and bigger defender of the Trump administration. Now, needless to say, that's incredibly disturbing given the trajectory that this administration is on and the things that they're doing. And this has the potential to take, impressionable young men and shift them further and further to the right as time goes by. So now it may be fair to refer to Asmongold as a right-wing political streamer, even though in the past he was basically non-political, right? So I have a couple of examples to cover here with you. For some of you in the audience may know who Asmongold is. Some of you may not. I believe we covered him recently because he said something that was casually genocidal about Palestinians and Muslims in general, right? I forget the exact wording of what he said, but it was something to the effect of, look, they're just different. They come from an inferior culture, and no, I don't feel bad for them. And this is in the context of talking about the Israeli genocide on Gaza, where you have minimum 50,000 people killed, some counts over 200,000 killed, and about 90% of them are civilians. And Israel did a total blockade, no food, no fuel, no water, no electricity, no medicine getting in there. You have women and children are being decimated by this. So we covered it at the time because I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is disturbing stuff. Well, guess what? He's back, and he's making equally horrible arguments. So let's start with this one. Here's Asmongold talking about this is censorship in Europe is the first clip. And then you're going to hear his commentary on Mahmoud Khalil in the second clip. Now, Mahmoud Khalil was one of the lead protesters at Columbia against the Israeli genocide. And you'll spot the difference for me. Here we go.
So the government decides what's hateful or not. And whenever they make that decision, they decide to censor you arbitrarily. And people in Europe are okay with this? Man. Y'all need to throw some TNT into the water or some shit. You can't let this happen. Yeah, bro, you're gonna let these clowns boss you around. No, we're not? Well, then organize and get rid of them. It's hard to say whether he committed a crime, but there's a higher standard of conduct for people that are green card holders.
It's a higher standard of conduct. I don't have to actually prove you did anything. I just have the government arbitrarily say that you're a terrorist supporter, and that's all he needs to hear.
It's not true. That's not true. The First Amendment applies to green card holders. And by the way, the White House admitted...
The First Amendment applies to illegal immigrants. The First Amendment applies to tourists. The First Amendment applies to people filing for refugee status. The whole reason they're coming to our country is because they're being politically persecuted. What the fuck are you talking about? The U.S. Constitution applies to every human being inside the United States. And if you're objecting to that, you're a fucking idiot. And I'll tell you why. Because how do you know you're a citizen? How do I know you're a citizen? This is what these dumb fucks like Asmongold don't understand. Just because you know you're a citizen doesn't mean that you could prove it. And if, by the way, if I say I don't know if you're a citizen, I can now use that ambiguity to act against you, you dumbass piece of fucking shit. You fucking idiot. And that's exactly what ICE is doing. They're rounding people up and they are taking away their freedom, and then they're applying the law against people without even knowing if they are citizens or not. And that's exactly why this is stupid, you dumb fuck piece of shit. Fucking idiot. Because as soon as you say, well, the Constitution only applies to citizens, then the government says we don't need to do due process against non-citizens. Well, guess what? You never get the opportunity to prove that you're a citizen, and they can censor your speech, you dumbass. And by the way, I don't want to live in a fucking world where non-citizens don't have freedom of speech. Albert Einstein came to our country, which gave us, the nuclear bomb, you dumbass piece of shit. And he did so because they had freedom of speech, and they had freedom of religion. Can you imagine America? I mean, the only thing redeeming about America is the First Amendment. The only thing, literally the only thing that's good about America is that the government was relatively hands-off on speech. But other than that, but even then, I mean, you have to be the dumbest piece of fucking shit. This fucking loser who doesn't contribute a goddamn thing is out there saying the government should censor people's speech it doesn't like.
Mahmoud Khalil did not commit a crime. They said we're not accusing him of committing a crime. So green card holder, legal permanent resident, First Amendment applies, and they go, we say it doesn't apply, even though we admit he didn't commit a crime. And by the way, he was completely disappeared, zero due process whatsoever. So on every level, he's wrong. The Asmongold in the first clip should be saying the exact same thing when it comes to Mahmoud Khalil and the United States.
It's hard to say.
See, the thing that you don't understand, Kyle, is in the first clip, Asmongold was arguing in favor for Nazis to be able to do Zig Heils and call for the extermination of Jews and Muslims in Germany. Those people were being arrested. They were denying the Holocaust, and they were being arrested in Germany, right? That's what he was objecting to. He was like, you should be able to deny the Holocaust. You should be able to scream anti-Semitic slurs and do Zig Heils in Germany. That is your right. The second one is Muslims and American students at Ivy League universities were protesting a genocide that we're spending hundreds of billions of our taxpayer dollars to fund. Those people are not okay. Those people should be silenced, according to Asmongold. Support Israel. Pay your taxes to go to Israel, Asmongold. $330 billion to Israel. That's Asmongold, folks. $330 billion for Israel. Oh, you have potholes on your street? Fuck you. Oh, you have no good public transit? Fuck you. Oh, the housing is taking up more than half of your paycheck? Fuck you. We've got Israel to fund. That's Asmongold. Asmongold loves giving money to Israel to kill kids. What a fucking loser. Bro, make an argument. I just trashed your dipshit fucking streamer. Come on, Boone. Come on, Boone. Make an argument, you fucking loser.
Whether he committed a crime, but there's a higher standard of conduct for people that are green card holders than people who are naturalized citizens. And he wasn't meeting that conduct, so he's getting deported, hopefully. And there should be? Yeah, they should be. And I support this completely. I hope they do this to more of them. We have enough troublemakers in the country already.
Troublemakers.
Without importing new ones on green cards to start even more trouble. Who needs...
Meanwhile... Again, Asmongold had no problem with people rioting and attacking the Capitol and getting blanket pardons. That was fine to Asmongold, but protesting at your university that you go to, telling them not to send money to Israel, Asmongold wants you to get deported for that. Why does Asmongold love Israel so much? Can someone explain to me why Asmongold loves Israel so much? Why is he such an Israel worshiper? It's weird.
So let's be clear. The trouble he's referring to is protesting Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. That's his trouble. His trouble is saying international law matters, U.S. law matters, human rights matter, innocent men, women, and children getting blown up and being starved to death in our name with our money, that matters. We should stop that. That's the trouble that he's causing. The trouble. I'd rather have millions of Mahmoud Khalils here. Because
Mahmoud Khalil has a master's degree from an Ivy League university. Is married to an American citizen who's pregnant with their child. You're telling me that you want to deport a guy with a master's degree from an Ivy League university because he doesn't want our tax dollars going to kill kids? I mean, I'm trying, like, this is the thing about people like Asmongold. He won't even defend this position, right? He just likes the idea of hurting people that disagree with him. That's what this is about. And my personal response to that is, you know, I've known this about you for a long time, Asmongold. And right now he's showing who he really is. He's showing who he really fucking is. Don't you ever forgive. Don't you ever forget. I think Asmon's sense of charitability is admirable, but God, we really need to rip these D and Asmongold get chatters a new one. Thank you for the service. Here's my feeling on Hassan. I like that Hassan is open and friendly and charitable, but never in a million fucking years could I do that. If I was Hassan, I would have hated this motherfucker for years. The first time he tried to plant a dagger in my back, I would have hated these motherfuckers for years, dude. The charitability he showed to Asmongold, the charitability he showed to Ethan Klein, the charitability he showed to Trainwrecks, the charitability he has shown to, let's see, who else was he charitable to? Aiden Ross, Trainwrecks, Asmongold, Destiny, XQC, Ethan Klein. Like, at a certain point, like, what are you doing, man? Like, what the fuck are you doing? These people have been trying to stab him in the back for years, dude. And like, I get it. And personally, that's why there's different strokes for different folks. Hassan will continue to be the hyper charitable person. I'm going to continue to be the person that keeps it real for you know, that's it. And it's a good to I like that. I like how we have different strategies. And maybe he'll redeem somebody that I thought was a lost cause. And I'm excited to see it. But I'm also going to be a little bit more, I'm going to be straightforward and honest. Like, people have been, in fact, I think I called these motherfuckers right-wingers years ago, and people like clipped it and tried to like start drama over it. Like, Mike is claiming Asmongold is a right-winger. I may have like deleted the clip at some point because I just didn't want to deal with the bullshit. Let's see if I can find it. Which would really suck because it would be another Mike was right moment. This is how Twitch has been fucked. Like, it's important that people understand that this is Destiny's doing. This is Destiny's doing. This is the guy who's the enemy of the platform. This is Asmongold and Destiny. And everybody needs to turn against them for ruining the bag. Okay, that was a while ago. That was me talking about how Asmongold was working with Destiny to try to like remove ads. Let me see. Yeah, I definitely deleted it. Damn. You hate to see it. There's a difference between someone like old Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, who are right-wing due to circumstance but open to the left, via Asmon, Elon, Destiny, to others who are right-wing but pretended to be liberals who are when it was convenient. I agree with that. I think Joe Rogan is an example of what happens when the left allies itself with centrists and gets nothing in return. All that happens is we get discredited among regular people. And I think that now, you know, Joe Rogan is rich as fuck, and he's just been integrated into the Republican elite. And that's that. But Joe Rogan tried to, endorse Bernie Sanders, and his reward was to be canceled by like everyone. Why the fuck would he do that? Meanwhile, when he endorsed Trump, he was welcomed into the GOP. What does that say?
That's somebody with a conscience who still has humanity and morality. How quickly everybody becomes massively authoritarian when their charismatic cult leader decides, let me do this wildly illegal, unconstitutional thing. It is incredibly disturbing. But I got more. Here's Asmongold celebrating the fact that Donald Trump is warmongering now with Yemen. Here we go.
Today, the fugitive leader of ISIS in Iraq was killed. He was relentlessly hunted down by our intrepid warfighters. His miserable life was terminated along with another member of ISIS in coordination with the Iraqi government and the Kurdish regional government. Peace through strength. His miserable life was terminated. Oh my God. Ordered the United States military launch divisive and military action against Houthi terrorists. Oh no! Luffy's in trouble. Oh no! Oh shit! This is horrible! Today, I've ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They've waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones. Joe Biden's response was pathetically...
And other. The reality is what has happened is the Houthis said they were going to blockade Israel for doing a genocide, and then the United States started to attack them to protect Israel on our tax dime. No support from Israel. Israel didn't pay for it. You and I paid for it to protect Israeli ships. And they failed to defeat the Houthis. And the Houthis shot back at the American ships that were attacking them. And the United States is spending billions and billions of dollars and having very little effect. Amazing.
Week, so the unrestrained Houthis just kept going. It's been over a year since the U.S. flagged commercial ship sailed safely through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, or the Gulf of Aden. The last American warship to go through the Red Sea 4 months ago was attacked by the Houthis over a dozen times. Funded by Iran, the Houthi thugs have fired missiles at U.S. aircraft and targeted...
Here's the thing. When you say funded by Iran, you're just being delusional. The Houthis are legitimately they fought back against the Saudi Arabian puppet government of the central government, and they defeated them. And then they defeated Saudi Arabia's genocide attempt, supported by the United States. They are in charge of the country, not because of Iran, but because of the legitimate organization of the resistance by the people of Yemen. That's just the reality. So what you're trying to do basically is say, we would rather try to fight a regime change war against the Yemeni Houthis than just say, hey, Israel, stop attacking Gaza.
Our troops and allies. These relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. The Houthi attack on the American vessels will not be tolerated. We'll be using overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved... Bro, this sentence. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. The Houthis have choked off shipping in one of the most important waterways of the world, grinding vast swaths of global commerce to a halt and attacking the core principle of freedom of navigation upon which our international trade commerce depends. Our brave warfighters right now are carrying out aerial attacks on terrorist bases, leaders, and missile defenses to protect American shipping, air, and naval assets to restore navigational freedom. No terrorist force will stop American commercial ships. To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up, and your attacks must stop, starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before.
Like, this is the, like, people like Asmongold just like him talking tough. God, he's such a fucking loser, dude. They're talking tough, but it doesn't work. The United States of America was defeated by the Taliban. The United States of America was defeated by the Vietnamese. The United States of America is defeated over and over and defeated by China and Korea. Just defeated. You're talking tough, but you can't get a W. That's it. You like to talk tough, but then what? Then what happens? You lose. And we waste billions of dollars of our tax dollars. We make a lot more enemies. We get a bunch of maimed and PTSD riddled soldiers. And let me just say this about soldiers with PTSD. People like Asmongold got really mad at Frogan for making a joke, an edgy joke. I thought he believed in freedom of speech for American citizens. He got mad at Frogan for making an edgy joke. But he actually supports the creation of more American soldiers with PTSD. At least Frogan doesn't support more people coming down with PTSD. I mean, who hates veterans more than Asmongold?
Oh my God. Holy shit. He's cooking? Yeah. Did he write that? Guaranteed he wrote this. Absolutely. You know he wrote this. Yep, this is what I voted for. Yep.
This is what you voted for?
You voted for
is this what you voted for?
Houthis?
Here's what he said about Yemen during the campaign.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
That's right.
What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping.
This is something that Hassan and I said extensively at the time, which is that he's a fake peaceful dove. And the Democratic Party sucks because warmongers like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they let Donald Trump pretend to be a peaceful dove, but he's actually a warmongering Zionist puppet. And that is why Donald Trump won, because he was allowed to posture like he was the peaceful dove. But in fact, he's always been a disgusting warmongering idiot, except now he's threatening Canada and Denmark, and he's offending our European allies, and he is attacking Mexico, and he's threatening Panama. And so the rest of the world looks at the United States and sees a rabid fucking dog. And personally, as a radical leftist, I'm like, good. See what America really is, not the propaganda we send on your TV and movie theaters. See what America really represents, which is brute force, and start organizing yourself against our vicious, rabid dog mentality. That's the only way to ensure peace. You know how you ensure peace? It isn't through American largesse and gentleness, which doesn't exist. You ensure peace by having interlocking exchanges of equals. Justice only exists between equals. That's the reality. That's why I believe in equality, because the weak do what they will. Excuse me, the strong do what they will, the weak suffer what they must. Justice exists only between equals. So I want to forge true equality. Not paper equality, but actual equality. Now, I'm not talking about exact perfect equality among all nations or something. I'm talking about an international system that holds every nation under its purview, that is democratic, that is international, that is objective.
Dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that.
So during the campaign, Biden's bombing Yemen. What is he doing? You don't have to bomb Yemen. Why would you do that? America first. I always say America first. Then he gets in the White House. I'm bombing Yemen. I'm bombing it way more than Joe. And also notice he reads Trump's statement. It just takes it at face value. Why would I want to double check a guy who's lied literally over 30,000 times in his first term alone? He reads it and just goes, yep, that's the retelling of events that's accurate. Why do you think the Houthis are doing what they're doing, Asmongold? Is it, bro, they hate us for our freedom, and they hate us for our values, and they hate us because we have, like, the NBA and the NFL and stuff, and movies and Hollywood, bro. Why do you think they're doing what they're doing? Have you done any background research on any of this to pontificate like you're pontificating and saying, oh, he's cooking? Oh, is he? The reason the Houthis are doing this is because Israel is doing a genocide in Gaza. They looked around, saw nobody was doing anything, and they said, holy shit, we want to help protect our Muslim brothers and sisters in Gaza. Look at all these people being killed, so let's do a blockade to make it so goods and weapons cannot get into Israel. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Guess what? When there was a temporary ceasefire that both sides actually abided by, what did the Houthis do? They stopped. They stopped attacking ships, they stopped seizing ships, and they said, you want us to stop doing this? The answer is simple. Stop doing the genocide in Gaza. That's it. That's it. Guess what? When that temporary ceasefire was up, they went right back to doing what they were doing. Right back to doing what they were doing. So if you actually wanted to stop, if you actually gave a shit, if you actually cared, it's, hey, Israel, stop killing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza, 90% of which are innocent civilians. Stop doing a total blockade and cutting off all food, fuel, water, and electricity. Stop making it so that kids are getting shot in the face. Stop making it so kids have to get...
And here's the thing. Why are we in the Middle East in the first place? This is something that Asmongold never asks. Why the fuck are we in the Middle East in the first place? Why are we sending money and weapons to Saudi Arabia? Why are we sending money and weapons to Egypt? Why are we sending money and weapons to fucking Jordan? Why are we bombing fucking Syria? Why are we bombing Yemen? Why are we interfering with the Middle East at all? And if you say oil, that's a fucking dumb answer, because the United States and Canada and Mexico together produce more oil than they need. We already produce more. We are energy independent. Those three nations of North America united are energy independent. We don't need oil from the Middle East. So why the fuck are we going over to the Middle East and interfering with these countries and supporting dictatorships and theocracies for oil? We don't need their fucking oil. Is it European oil? Is it Chinese oil? Is it Japanese oil? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I want the United States of America, instead of spending $1 trillion in the Middle East killing children and creating Al-Qaeda and ISIS, how about we come back to the United States and spend $1 trillion on nuclear power and renewable energy and building better infrastructure? How about we come home and provide energy so that it's cheap as fuck for Americans? And say, fuck you, Middle East, rot. Why is that strategy not a good strategy? We don't need the oil from there. So why are we interfering? Why are we supporting dictatorships and theocracies? Is it for your benefit? It ain't my benefit. I have to pay for oil the same as anyone motherfucker in China does. I have to pay the same prices. It makes no fucking sense unless you realize the American government isn't about the interests of Americans. So why is Asmongold so ecstatic to send his tax dollars and my tax dollars overseas to Israel to kill brown kids? I would love to hear his explanation of that. He seems to love it.
An arm amputated or a leg amputated with zero anesthesia, so it's the most painful thing you could ever imagine in your worst nightmare. So what Trump is doing here, let's be clear. What Trump is doing here is he's acting as a proxy military for Israel. He's acting as a proxy. What happened to America first? America first. And by that, what I really mean is Israel first. Now, if you say, Kyle, that's unfair, you're overreaching. Why don't you take it from the man himself? Here's what Trump had to say.
You know, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
They literally owned Congress. Now, wait, listen to what he says.
And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And today it's almost the opposite. You have between AOC and Omar and these people that hate Israel.
AOC and Omar hate Israel. That's like what, 10 people? 60 people at the most if we're being generous? And they don't even hate Israel. They're just like, can you please not indiscriminately kill kids? Anti-Semite! You're anti-Semitic! You don't think Israel has the right to indiscriminately bomb apartment buildings! So, like, it's so weird. Like, Asmongold, I would love to hear your explanation. Like, I wish he would just be honest about his opinions. That's kind of the worst part about people like Asmongold. He can't just be honest. He can't just be honest. He has to do this whole like fucking rigmarole where he lies and conceals his real opinion. And it's just so tiring and boring.
They hate it with a passion. They're controlling Congress, and Israel is not a force in Congress anymore.
He was honest once and he got banned. Oh, shit. Good point.
Amazing. I've never seen such a change. And we're not talking about over a very long period of time. But I think you know exactly what I'm saying. They had such power. Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress, and now it does.
And rightfully, Israel had such power. They owned Congress. They had such power, and rightfully over Congress. Why does he say that, Asmongold? Why do you think he's saying that? I'll tell you why he's saying that. He's taken hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. Hundreds of millions. Sheldon Adelson, Miriam Adelson. He's taken it both to his campaign and his super PACs, his PACs, and the Republican Party infrastructure in general as well. They've taken hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. And that's why Donald Trump is bombing the Houthis. It's got nothing to do with America First in any way, shape, or form. That's why he's bombing the Houthis. That's why he said to Israel, you know what? I know the Golan Heights is Syrian territory. I disagree. I say it's your territory. I'm officially letting you annex it. I'm going to let you move the embassy to Jerusalem. Why? Because your donors paid us off. I'm corrupt. You bribed me to do this. Tell me again how he's cooking, Asmongold.
To Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Do not threaten the American people, their president, who has received one of the largest mandates in presidential history, or worldwide shipping lanes. If you do, beware, because America will hold you fully.
Received one of the largest mandates in presidential history? Brotherfucker didn't even break 50%. Motherfucker didn't even break 50%. I mean, he's Barack Obama got 51%. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, look at this shit. It's so fucking stupid. Bitch got 49%. Didn't even break the majority. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Largest mandate, by the way. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, this is the type of shit that I mean. Like, it's just mind-numbing, stupid bullshit like this. And by the way, I want to show you something. Do you guys see Asmongold's face here? Do you see Asmongold's face? Like, look at Asmongold's face. I'm sorry. Look at Asmongold's face. Look at Asmongold's face. He's up there. He's making this, like, half, like, he's got his buck teeth, and he's going, like, he's, like, smiling. You see what I mean? And his eyes are like kind of like almost half closed. So he's having some sort of pleasure reaction. That's what it's really about, right? Which is like he thinks he's successfully bullying people via I don't know, like through Trump's actions, right? And he knows you're gonna get so mad, and he's getting under you. He's like, it's like a younger brother who is like teasing his older sister. That's Asmongold. Bro, you're an adult man, man. You're an adult man. And here's the thing. Like, ultimately, this is the reality of our politics. Like, we live in a world where people like Asmongold use politics for attention and for the feeling of, like, I'm trolling you. I'm doing lay troll. That's the politics now. How does he have 50K viewers? Well, the truth was a lot of his viewers were pre-existing viewers, and that he has now radicalized to the far right. Congratulations, brother. You did it. You successfully got them to support radical far right politics that's going to hurt them. That's it. And he's gotten some like right wingers who will literally follow anyone as long as they just repeat what they want to hear.
Accountable, and we won't be nice about it.
This is Trump being played like a fiddle by Iran, by the deep state, by the way. That's what this is. They told him, they were whispering in his, oh, I think it was Iran that tried to assassinate you, sir. Not a awkward loner virgin groiper who nearly killed you. No, it's Iran is coming after you. And Trump believed it hook, line, and sinker. And now he's primed us for war with Iran. By the way, he ripped up the peace agreement with Iran that was working perfectly. The Iranian nuclear agreement, they abided by it over a dozen times. The IAEA went in there and verified it, International Atomic Energy Agency. And he was told, oh, Iran's trying to kill you, sir. And now he's like, stop, don't threaten me, Iran. Don't threaten me. Being played like a fucking fiddle.
Hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. Man. That's a lot. Content president? Yeah, I guess so, right? Oh my God, base my president. I guess so. And Trump got bumped with the microphone. I saw that already. Yeah, what happened to people? Yeah, thank God. I mean, this is a great thing. I mean, they're fucking terrorists. Yeah.
That's his commentary. They're fucking terrorists. Nobody's having a conversation right now about the Houthis' domestic policies or their extreme social conservatism and their hatred of gay people and all that stuff. What they're doing in this particular conflict is trying to blockade Israel so Israel stops bombing innocent people in Gaza. Period. If you want them to stop, we know how to make them stop. But he doesn't actually care about making them stop. He just, big swinging dick president, bro. He's bombing people, bro. I like it when he bombs people and talks tough, bro. Truly is the content president. Truly is. So I want to show you one more thing. Here's what Asmongold is supporting. Ready? The health ministry in Yemen. And we're doing the same rerun that we did. Remember, they would give the official statistics out of Gaza of the dead, and they'd be like, bro, that's run by Hamas. You can't trust that. Oh, what's that? We've had like a dozen other conflicts where the numbers that came from the health ministry run by Hamas are accurate. Whatever, bro. You can't actually even believe it in this instance for reasons and stuff and things, bro. So they're doing the same thing where they're saying, oh, the Houthis run this, so this can't be legitimate. 31 people killed, including women and children. By the way, this is a conservative number. I've also seen the number 58 floated. I've seen about 118 floated. And one of the things I read is that they also potentially struck a medical facility because he was carpet bombing and didn't give a fuck what he hit. This is what Asmongold is supporting. This is all America first, bro. We're all about America first. Stop the stupid foreign wars. And by that, I mean do more foreign wars. When Trump said no foreign wars, what he really meant was, let's warmonger with Somalia, where Trump bragged about bombing just the other week. Let's warmonger with Yemen and bomb them even though he said the exact opposite on the campaign trail. Let's threaten Greenland and Denmark and Panama and Mexico and Canada and say they're going to be the 51st state and Venezuela and Iran. Let's have like a dozen countries to warmonger with. Let's steal 50% of Ukraine's natural resources and their minerals as we pretend like we're the fucking saviors. This is what you guys are supporting. You're supporting imperialism. You're supporting colonialism. You're supporting neoconservatism on steroids. All these people, you became very fashionable, even on the right, to beat up on George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. Well, idiots, Donald Trump is George W. Bush and Dick Cheney on steroids and human growth hormone. That's what he is. He's taking their warmongering and multiplying it 100-fold. And you all fucking clap like seals. Now, by the way, the reason we're talking about this, look at this. 1.2 million views in one day. A streamer who wasn't political 17 seconds ago now suddenly loves Trump, suddenly loves his crackdown on free speech, suddenly loves his warmongering. I told you guys from day one. There was going to be no MAGA uprising from the base. Oh, you said anti-war things and now you're doing pro-war things. That wasn't going to happen. It's a cult. It's a fascist fucking cult. And this is proof positive of it right here. There's no more ifs, ands, or buts about it. Trump is acting as the proxy military of Israel in this instance. That's what he's doing. In the past, he mocked bombing Yemen. Now he's bombing Yemen way more than Biden. That's what's going on here. And these idiots are cheering it on. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's pathetic. They like the big swinging dick energy of, bro, I'm going to rain hell down on you, bro. Well, congratulations for being duped and hoodwinked into the world's dumbest fascist movement. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop.
I honestly am so glad that Asmongold is the person that is representing the right wing on Twitch. Like, I'm legitimately happy it's Asmongold. And the reason why is because when regular people find out about him, they're going to be like, ugh. Like, it could have been like somebody who's like at least the shape of normal. Like, I don't like Nick Merckx, but the guy is like a relatively like normal seeming guy. His takes are terrible. His politics suck, but he's like, you know, kind of a decent looking guy. You know, he has a wife. You know, he's like a normal looking dude. It could have been that guy. Thank God it's Asmongold. Thank fucking God it's Asmongold. And by the way, Chad, just because I'm describing Nick Merckx and being fair and being honest about who he is doesn't mean I like Nick Merckx. I'm just comparing him to Asmongold. This is very important. Like, one of the most important things you need to do with your brain is be able to judge your enemies honestly and objectively. That's how you defeat them. You know, it's like you don't win wars by pretending your enemies don't have any advantages or don't have any intelligence. That's what America does. That's why America loses every fucking war we fight. Did you hear about Trump wanting to declare fentanyl and WMD to engage in military actions against Mexico and Canada? It's so incredible that the #1 reason that opioids are ravaging the United States is American corporations and the CIA. Like, wherever the CIA is, that's where the heroin production is happening. It's been true since the 1950s. Political streamers using each other's names in their stream titles. There are no sides. There's just the make money on Twitch uses X's opinion and reacting to it side. What the fuck are you talking about? My feeling is when I see an argument, I'm going to take it on and I'm going to argue against it. The fuck are you talking about? Guess what, bitch? He's a big streamer talking about politics and he's dumb as fuck. I'm going to debunk it. Stop whining and complaining and make a goddamn argument. There are absolutely sides to this world. Here's the facts. You motherfuckers don't even know what left-wing means. You think liberals are left-wing. They're not.
I respect your intelligence, and I tried to do my best to provide a fair take on everything, and that includes a fair take on the most unfair people. I respect your intelligence. For protests, what makes a protest unlawful? The refusal to disperse when the police tell you to disperse.
So the police could just tell you to stop talking whenever they want. We have a First Amendment right to assemble. I don't know if Asmongold has ever actually read the First Amendment. I want to show you the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. See this peaceably to assemble thing? The cops just telling me to leave because they don't like what I'm saying is a violation of the First Amendment. And no protest movement in the history of this country has ever succeeded without people applying pressure.
And the like restricting access and freedom of movement in a public place.
They never restricted people's movement. They didn't restrict people's movement. That's not true. There was one building that was occupied, but most of the Palestinian protesters had encampments that were in common areas, and they didn't allow people to go into the encampment to, assault people. But they didn't prevent people from going to class. If you wanted to ignore the protests and just go to class, you were totally free to do that.
Impeding travel, yeah. It's very simple. It's so simple. No protest then? There are plenty of ways to protest that don't involve destroying property and obstructing people's freedom of movement. There are plenty of ways that you do that, and I think all of the most successful protests in history generally do that. Roadblocks.
Can Asmongold talk to me about what was the most successful protest in history that he would like to emulate? That's kind of interesting.
And the scope of the protest is big. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like this is like a national event. Yeah, this is a national event. It's a really big fucking deal. And so, like, I think this transcends like a small protest or whatever. I mean, this is a direct protest against the government. And also, like, I'm sure that, I mean, and also this is...
They're impeding my movement. I want to drive down this street. Why are they impeding my movement? They are all illegal protesters now.
Mainly at night, right? I mean, you're looking at a lot of this at night, so there's probably not as many people driving around. Like, obviously, it's not good to block traffic, but I feel like that's not really, like, the entire city, the entire...
So, as you can see, Asmongold has absolutely no consistent principles whatsoever. Moving on.
Important message for all of my Canadian game developer friends and colleagues. If you are attending GDC in San Francisco next week, I beseech you to reconsider. You can no longer expect to travel to the US and return safely. This is especially true if you've been supportive to any causes or expressed any values that run contrary to the taste of the current administration in the US. I feel bad for somebody like this, you know? I really do. I feel bad because, like, this is a level of, like, delusion and, like...
What's the delusion? They have lawful permanent residents getting arrested and disappeared across the country. These are foreign tourists. They have far less status than a lawful permanent resident. You dumbass. Again, this is the world you've created. America used to be a place where you could come and say what you wanted and people would disagree with you. I remember when people like Asmongold were crying their eyes out when foreign conservatives were trying to go to American universities where they would be protested and people would be like, no, don't pay them our tuition dollars and our activity fee dollars to support this right-wing racist. And Asmongold was going, the free speech, oh God, the woke skulls are ruining America. They're ruining free speech. And now the government is arresting people for their speech. And he's like, oh, they have to have a higher standard.
Hysteria. Like, you think about what this person's life must be like, right? I am shocked that there's even any argument about this at all. It's free speech. So you're right if he was a naturalized citizen.
Okay, the Constitution, which I know that you've never read. The Constitution applies to all persons in the United States. It's the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, Asmongold. We're going to read it together. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state they reside. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. This isn't any citizen. This is called birthright citizenship. And this is called equal protection to any person. Do you understand that, you dumbass? It says right there in the 14th Amendment, nor any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. If you're arrested and kidnapped across the country, you've lost your liberty. Any person subject within its jurisdiction, equal protection of the law. That means the Constitution applies to every person in the jurisdiction of the American Constitution. You dumb fuck.
But he's not. He's on a green card. And if you're on a green card, there are expectations that are different. It's that simple.
The expectation. So Asmongold basically believes that if people come here, they don't have freedom of speech. So any video game developer, any social media personality who's not American, according to Asmongold, can be deported at the whim of the president. So, for example, if, say, AOC becomes president, she could deport any member of OTC any Twitch streamer that says anything against her who's not an American citizen. That's what he wants to live in. He wants OTK. He wants Canute to get deported. Are you fucking stupid?
Yes. Important.
I
to do my best to provide a fair take on everything. So we got somebody. So we got somebody on Twitter saying that I would rationalize gas chambers for people. Bro, take your meds. So we go into
Newt is just OTK, Jason. I'm just giving the point. Like, you know, he's had political takes. Should he be deported?
Straight to the Holocaust. Oh my God. I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. Y'all really got to dial.
What's the evidence that they have genocide baked into their laws, man? What's your evidence?
Down this rhetoric. Like, not everything's the Holocaust. Not everybody is Hitler. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture.
What are Western values? You say we don't have freedom of speech. Even though the Constitution of the Fourth Amendment says no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Not any citizen. It says there, right there. Amendment 14, Section 1. The Constitution applies to everybody, every person in the United States, not just citizens.
In all ways. You're making your side look like irrational, belligerent, unreasonable, psychotic extremists. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. Oh my God. Who says that about somebody? So we got somebody.
What a fucking dumbass. Okay,
that includes a fair.
Where's him mauling over
on the most unfair people?
The lowly guy. I was promised the lowly video.
I saw this Dexerto article. Texas senators have unanimously passed a bill that, if signed into law, could make several games, anime, manga series illegal to own in the state. The bill bans any obscene depiction of a minor or someone who looks like one. Asmon literally lives in Texas, and he has to now delete half of his fucking library if this is the case.
What? How do you possibly say something about somebody like this? Hassan is going on his stream and implying that half of my library is depicting minors in obscene depictions. I hope that even the people that disagree with me can see how outrageously unhinged and fucked up this is.
It is what it is, dude.
Like, if you tweet something out like this, you mean one thing. It's very clear what you're trying to imply. There's the image of the article, and there's the picture of me.
Doesn't he watch like a lolly like alt-right the VTuber?
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be once again talking about Hassan Piker. Now, we've talked about him.
Guys, I got the round glasses for my lolly VTuber.
A couple times in the past month or so, mainly due to his crash outs over Asmongold, as well as his appearance on the Trash Taste podcast. And today we got pretty much a mixture of all those things. More crashing out over anime, crashing out over Asmongold, and some crashing out over Asmongold's favorite creator. Me, apparently. Yeah, well, at least according to Hassan Piker. But yeah, before we get into the most recent clips, let's understand...
Hey, aren't you going to talk about the Texas law? Wait, aren't you worried, man? Why aren't you going to talk about the Texas law? What happened? Banned in Texas.
Being in danger. Very clearly implying that I like lollies and I like obscene depictions of underage characters in anime. This is something that has now escalated to an implication.
It's not, by the way, dude, it's not just minors. It's, quote, someone who looks like one. It's not just minors. It's someone who looks like one.
As well. Asmongold's favorite content creator is literally a lolly content creator.
What? Rev, is this Rev Says Desu?
Oops. Oops. Oops.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're up here.
This is the obscene depiction of an underage character that he's talking about? This is it? I don't know. Maybe in some countries this is obscene. I don't know if it is. This is a normal character with a black t-shirt and twin. This is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, all of us, most 12-year-old girls have you know, crucifix chokers that they wear around.
Just how do you say something like this?
A child, like a child VTuber.
Listen,
his next video.
Listen. Asmongold has very classy lolly characters that he likes. Okay, there's nothing sexual about it.
I'm in danger.
Oh, I think I'm gonna post. I gotta post that.
He did tweet this out, by the way, and I'll get into it.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I gotta look more. Oh, wait. The avatar is wait. Why are they blushing? Yeah, why is the avatar, the lolly character, blushing? Oh, wait, guys! Rev does Desu. What are you talking about? Sorted by popular. What do you mean? Whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean underage characters in a sexual and obscene manner? What do you mean? Hey, Asmongold, what do you mean? Rev says Desu has nothing to do. Wait, I just went most popular post. Stop it, Oni-chan. We will, fuck you. What the? You might want to turn your volume down. Do you find this attractive? You fucking, yeah. Caught. We're gonna find out that Asmongold has decided to finally move out of his rotten home in Texas. He's suddenly decided to move to Florida, guys. Asmongold is selling his home. He's finally moving. This will be the thing that gets him out of Texas and out of his rotten mold of, home of filth and cockroaches and dead rats. I have a feeling that Asmongold's going to be announcing his move from Texas soon.
$130 million on national.
I don't really feel like that's. I feel like people always do this with anime girls.
is that they'll say like any type of anime girl looks this way. I don't think that she looks like one of the like lolly anime girls. Like straight up, I don't think that's the vibe that they're clearly going with. I really don't think that's the case. Like I'm pretty sure like if you look at the actual lolly anime girls and you compare it to a character like this, it's just two separate things. That's all there is to it. Yeah, it's two separate things.
I think he does a lot of comparing. He does a lot of comparing.